So how do immigration and customs officials who work in these areas fare? Isaac Nonya also focuses on the living and working conditions of border officials. With these living conditions, it wasn't such a surprise to note that accusations of extortion and corrupt practices laced reports of border users. As correspondent for Bono region Sabit Anas found, Ghanaians in Bontogo, an Ivorian community sharing borders with Sampa in the Bono region, praise military officers there for their vigilance, but they are furious with other border officials. They even want an intervention by a higher authority.
Bonduku, a city in northeastern Ivory Coast, is the capital of the Zanzan district of the Gontougou region. It is a 15-minute drive to the nearest border town of Sampa, which is the capital of the German North district of the Bono region. It is a commercial area which attracts not just Ivorians but thousands of Ghanaians, some of whom live here permanently. Some of them tell me they have very little confidence as far as security at the border posts here is concerned. They accuse security officers at the Sampa border of extortion, saying the officials hardly ever check their luggages whilst using the Sampa border. Kusi Apia is the leader of the Ghanaian traders at the Bontougou market. My biggest worry has to do with how immigration officials continuously extort monies from Ghanaians.
Ghana voting ID card, now we catch us here and to coin.
Even when you show them your ID card, they will go ahead and demand for money. The situation is not same here in Côte d'Ivoire because officers caught doing same are being fired by the state. For the rest of those doing businesses here, they cannot come to terms with the idea of paying money in order to be admitted into their own country when, according to them, Ivorian border officials only check their documents.
The
customs do not regard the cards issued to us by the ambassador.
The
Ivorian officials would allow us to go after showing them the card. The Ghanaian officials would say no unless we pay. It's worrying because the French officials do not treat us like that. When they request for your ID card, they will collect it and still demand for money.
So you 5 cedi ma woman san no twem.
What my sister is saying is true. It's painful how we are being treated at the border. I had to fight with one of them the last time I visited. Immigration and custom officials stationed here were unavailable for comments when we attempted to get their response, but I was told military patrols are common at the unapproved routes in this area. Kwaku Fosu believes the military is doing a good job here. And he also believes the other officials here should be tasked to do same because, in his opinion, they are not.
The
There are a lot of things going on wrong here, but to me, it is the military who are doing very well along the unapproved routes. They make sure they search you thoroughly when they meet you during their patrols. Ekuya Kuma is a resident of Soko, the immediate Ivorian town after Sampa. She has relatives in Ghana, but she would rather not visit them unless it is extremely necessary. She will do anything possible to avoid paying money at the border to enter her own country to visit her family. Me, I don't like going to Ghana because of the money they take from us. So when nothing urgent happens, like a loss of a relative, I don't visit Ghana. She told me it is her wish that similar treatment will be meted out to Ghanaians who do visit the Ivory Coast. For me, the Ivorian officials should give Ghanaians same treatment, but they won't do it. You see, Ivorians are not wicked people, but for Ghanaians, they are not good people. There are about 9 other unapproved routes along the Ivory Coast sharing border with the Bono region. With the main activities being commercial, the communities keeps growing. The military may be patrolling the unmanned posts, but the question residents here ask is, for how long, and can they be everywhere all the time? They wonder how government intends to redirect monies going to smugglers and border officials they accuse of extortion into the national coffers.
We stayed in the Sampa area to dig further, and all we found were more problems. Residents here complain of armed robbery and armed nomadic men terrorizing them. Correspondent Anna Sabit again reports from the Sampa-Soku border.
Like most border towns, residents are by no means limited to trade. Most of these communities are also linked by economic, social, cultural, and religious ties. Here at the Ghana-Cote d'Ivoire border, residents of Sampa and Soko express worry at the spate of robbery cases recorded in recent years, especially during cashew seasons. Residents who walk to and from their farms either by foot or bike are being attacked by armed robbers. Yes, they exist, especially during cashew seasons. Even today, someone reported of his lost motorbike and we directed him to report the case to the police.
There
are thieves here, but we don't know where they are from. There is a specific place where they usually stand to rob, but as to whether they are Ghanaians, Fulani herdsmen, or we do not know. The border linking Ghana and Ivory Coast here in Sampa is just a tiny piece of land. After all, history says these borders are artificial creations by the colonial masters. The people who live here say they consider themselves as one people irrespective of their different nationalities. We are same people with those in Sampa. We speak same language too. Some of us here do go to marry from Sampa and the vice versa. Moro Abu speaks of how they work together with security officials to prevent the influx of illegal items and thefts at unapproved routes, even though it remains a daunting challenge. There exist unapproved routes, but the custom officers are always there. So it's better you use the main route, because when you are arrested in the bush, you go through West treatment, so it's better you avoid those routes. I have come to the Sampa border from Soko. Here, border business is ongoing as usual. Like the other border posts we have checked, Immigration and customs officials work under extreme pressure, not to mention lack of logistics. Here in Sampa, they even lack office space. One of them spoke to me on the condition of anonymity.
Yeah, logistics, that one, we need logistics. We need accommodation for officers. And even we can see that here we are patching with custom. If we can get a shocker or a pepper spray, all these items to enhance our work here.
He also highlights the activities of armed nomadic herdsmen.
Also, some of them too, they are here and they seek medical help. As they are going here, are they going empty-handed? Are they coming empty-handed? But a Fulani man, you know, by the nature, they are nomadics and they are in the bush. They try to protect their animals, so they have weapons. So normally when they come here, we check them. We use a scanner to scan to see whether they are carrying dangerous weapon.
Our checks along the various artificial routes created by smugglers revealed that immigration officials are being stationed to foil possible influx of smuggled goods and ammunition. My next destination is the Buko end. This structure is the supposed accommodation for the officers at post. But with no electricity, terrible telecommunications network, and the unavailability of mattresses, officers are being rotated on weekly basis instead of being stationed here permanently. These officials who work here are those accused of extortion by traders at the border. So I asked the officer who spoke to me on anonymity for a response.
No, not yet, because I'm just here barely a year now. So I have not come across that. Maybe if it exists, maybe other commander, but not this period. Because our new Director General warned us that if you have found this is the consequences. So, but not to my attention. Yeah, you know, in every society we have bad nuts, but not to the best of my knowledge.
Sampa is not the only Ghanaian community sharing borders with Ivory Coast. Others can be found in Olubo. Western Regional Correspondent Inathalia Kwanzaa has the story detailing the audacity of smugglers who hoot or wave sarcastically at border officials who lack speedboats to chase and arrest them on the water bodies. Residents here accept smuggling as a local economy booster, even though it means Ghana is losing thousands, if not millions, of cedis.
I am here at Cocoville, one of the numerous unapproved routes to and from Ghana to neighboring Ivory Coast at Olubo in the Jomoro district of the Western region. It is business as usual, and my camera captures 3 young men in a canoe fully packed with rice and other goods, paddling towards what they call their landing site. At the bank of the river Tano, another group of young men load bags of rice into a tricycle. They tell me they had been contracted by a shop operator in Takrade to buy these bags of rice from Ivory Coast and used this route to evade duties they consider too expensive. They seem unperturbed by our presence and make no attempt to stop. We learn from the community this illegal business is the norm here and big business as well.
That rice and oil and coal and many more. Yes, sometimes we bring them because they said Cote d'Ivoire rice is cheap. That is why they send out the money, we go there to buy them, bring it here. We pass here because of the duty that they were doing at border side. It's very high, it's very expensive, so people can't do the duty. They used to pass this way. So if the government can reduce the duty for them, they also can pass that place.
I want small money, then go to school. That's why I'm here.
Is this place an approved route?
No, it's not approved because what I know that this place is like illegal place that you wish.
Theophilus Annan is a resident here. He takes few minutes of his quiet time here at the riverside to walk me through how goods are transported here every day to and from Ghana and Ivory Coast.
Okay, when they close the border, people would like to use this road to go to wherever they want to go because of time. So when they get here, those guys over there, they will cross them and collect some money from them.
I have come to Cocoa Town, about 10 minutes drive from Cocoville. Here, I meet a queue of canoe peddlers waiting to offer transportation service to anyone who wants to smuggle goods from Ghana to Ivory Coast. Their destination from here is usually an Ivorian community called French Nungwa. This is River Tando, and it is the boundary between Elubo community known as Cocoa Town and French Nungwa. This happens to be a no man's land. An Okada driver, Kwekunimo, not his real name, takes me to French Nungwa. He tells me unapproved routes here in Cocoa Town are as busy as the main Elubo border. He says the people who transport the goods have tactical means of frustrating immigration and customs officials on the river, since the officials do not have a speedboat to chase after them. For residents here, the unapproved routes have become hubs of economic activities, boosting their local economy. They cannot be bothered about any negative impacts.
To be sincere to you, this route has helped this community a lot economically. We don't have a single day whereby a car will not come from Côte d'Ivoire.
It is 30 minutes after 7 p.m. and the main Elubo border is closed. But in the thick of the darkness, I see people busily transporting goods and persons to the river tunnel. I have been informed illegal transporters like these stay on the river till 12 a.m.
They were afraid. They were afraid to pass here. So we try to convince them so that they can pass and go. We also can get our chop money from that place. So because of there is no work.
This story will be told over and over, but without the necessary logistics, border officials will check those who choose to use the approved border, and the unapproved route will remain hubs for smugglers and traffickers.
The terrain that we operate, water bodies, lagoons and things of that nature. And so without the requisite gadgets like speedboats to track them, it becomes very difficult. One funny thing is that when you see them coming with goods, you become helpless. On a very good day, they will just give you a wave and just wave at you. There is nothing that you can do because you can't jump into the river and then make any arrests. We do snap checks, or we get ourselves positioned at places where, after using the river for their smuggling activities, we clamp on them and then arrest them.
That was the 10th report from 8 regions. We head now to Volta, Ghana, and start in the newly created OT region, where one of the main challenges was the inability of officials to distinguish Ghanaians from non-Ghanaians. Correspondent Peter Seno also reports on how frustrated border officials are about lack of logistics. He visited 4 posts in the Kejebi district.
We began our checks on border posts at the Kechi outpost in the Jasikan district, which is under the Nkwanta Sector Command. A visit to the border post would leave one in search of. Apart from the main or approved border that is managed by immigration officers, there are the outposts too, which anyone can use to exit or leave the country without any checks. Some officers who declined to be named described the situation as dire, and the conditions in which they serve are not any better.
We need men and a lot of logistics. Sometimes we patrol from here to Bethel. I don't know whether you know Bethel. We patrol to that side. Even that place, there is a bridge that they just passed there. So when we went, our boss went and laid it before the DC. that if they can give us a structure there, it would be good to station some of our people there. But all boils down to funds.
Yeah.
So there is no.
So your motorbike, you fuel it yourself?
We fuel it ourselves. But we have covered yourself, like you see. These are wearing shorts.
The Uncle Flights.
There is something at Obuasi. There is something at Amaso.
Yeah.
I think they are around the whole of this place. The rest they will be there, no, then they will come. You know, when the rain falls too much, they want a dry. Yeah. So you'll be there, no, they will come. So in the evening, you can't move without a torch.
This is the Kechi outpost of the Ghana Immigration Service. I am told there are 3 other unapproved routes used by visitors either to evade tax or for various mischievous reasons. We are told that at least 4 men are supposed to be on duty for a rotational period of 7 days with 1 pistol, which some residents describe as a toy gun. Some officers have expressed their disgust at the deplorable conditions in which they live and work, but for fear of disciplinary actions that would be taken against them by their superiors, they would rather remain silent. The situation is not any different at the Obuasi outpost in the Kejebe district. The worrying trend is that some settlements have developed behind the border post, and so it's difficult to tell who is coming in at any point in time. What's more, there are several lanes to the town, which officers say is a difficult thing to manage. One of the men takes me to an unauthorized route close by. He tells me it's difficult to tell a visitor from an indigent. The third outpost visited is the Ahamaso Pillar 83, which is also classified under the Nkwanta Sector Command. The situation here is almost a hopeless one, as this river separates the outpost from the unauthorized routes. This man provides the service of carrying people to the other side of the river. None of the men could swim when I asked those on duty at the time of our visit, not even the canoe service provider. This is the daunting task of defending a nation.
If you want to cross around this time, what do you do?
Oh, they are there to cross us.
But if it gets flooded, you can capsize. Both can turn upside down.
If they can't go, they will just tell us. Then we will use the main road.
That's the risk involved. Then we go and use the main road.
The main
that
road.
one too, they will blow alarm down.
You're coming. But can you guys swim?
No, really.
The
commander in charge of the Nkwanta sector, did not agree to have a recorded conversation, but said that no serious threats have been recorded across his borders, but admits the borders are porous. He echoes one of his men's words, "Only God is watching over us." He also admitted having issues with motor riders from Togo entering Ghana, and some community elders from same intervening whenever the riders breached the law. Mr. Fair has since been organizing security sensitization sessions for selected groups in the Kejebe township.
Peter again tells the story of unmotorable roads, lack of vehicles, as well as almost non-existent network for telephony services. He looks at how these tell on the efficiency of border officials in the Kejebe district.
This road leads to the main border post at Menusu, one of Ghana's eastern borders to the Republic of Togo. The road is pothole-ridden, bumpy, and generally unmotorable. This road is not in a good shape for any emergency calls or evacuation. Beyond the bad state of the road, it also becomes very slippery anytime it rains because of huge clay deposits in the soil here. I'm currently at the crossroads between Togo and Ghana. A third part of the road belongs to Togo, whereas the remaining untarred part belongs to the Republic of Ghana. Unlike some unmanned entry points, I see immigration officials in charge here. They are here to protect the country from any external aggression. But what are their realities and how do they cope? I started at the Kechi outpost in the Jasikan district, but under the Nkwanta Sector Command. Here, the solar panel to provide lights at night has broken down. The officers share this dilapidated structure. They struggle to make or receive phone calls every day unless they position themselves in this corner of a premises. Communication is severely impeded in this area. The officers will not go on record with how they respond in terms of emergencies and what they do when reinforcement is needed. I have come to the Obuasi outpost, still in the Kajebi district of the Oti region. The situation here is not so different. No lights, having to battle with flies which cause onchocerciasis, and sometimes attacks from the communities close by when they try to do their jobs and exercise some vigilance. My next destination was very hard to reach. It is the Ahamansu outpost. I have arrived after traveling 3 kilometers. Immigration officials here are also saddled with hard challenges as they travel over 3 kilometers to do something as basic as charging their mobile phones on a daily basis. Their solar panels have been faulty, and like their counterparts in Obuasi, extremely poor network leaves them with one sacred spot of reception on the premises. These are just the highlights of their daily concerns. There's more, but like all security agencies, disciplinary action could follow if they go on record with these concerns. So they choose to be silent. Of the series on porous borders, they sure are hopeful their superiors and government will act swiftly to avert any unfortunate situation.
We really work with what we have, and they are doing their best. Some of these have already come to the notice of our authorities, and they have called for full reports on the borders and the structures and the entire condition, so that at least they will help us to be able to improve the conditions under which these officers and men work.